Derek James, a former unified heavyweight world champion, has been chosen by Anthony Joshua to be his new trainer as he gets ready to fight again in April. The 33-year-old British great is aiming for a third term as a world champion in 2023 and is working to regain some confidence after consecutive losses to Alexander Usyk. Watch this video for the full detail. First up, in an exciting news phase, Anthony Joshua selects a new trainer as an opponent for their upcoming bout. As he prepares to advance in 2023, Anthony Joshua appears to be returning to the ring in April, following a brief association with the Californian coach who supported Joshua during his second loss to Usyk in Saudi Arabia in August of last year. AJ appears to be splitting ways with him. Following recent trial matches in the United States, No Smoke Boxing is now saying that Joshua has decided on a new relationship with James. Before his alliance with Garcia, Joshua had thought about joining forces with James, but it now appears that he would join Errol Spence Jr. and Jamar Charlo, the undisputed world champion. Eddie Hearn is thought to have marked April 1st for Anthony Joshua's return following a 6-month break from the ring. Despite the British public's fervent desire to see Anthony Joshua fight Dillian Whyte next, Australian heavyweight Demsey McKean has been suggested as Joshua's next opponent. After improving to 22-0 in October, McKean, who has previously sparred with Joshua, is climbing up the heavyweight rankings. McKean spoke up about the possibility of facing Joshua at the Australian Gabba Cricket Ground after his most recent victory. The 32-year-old stated that he believes he accomplished enough to merit a subsequent fight with a well-known figure. Additionally, it was an early knockout, and I'm going to hold Eddie Hearn accountable for that, as well as the fact that he believed he was speaking against AJ when he said the Gabba. In addition to any of the top-tier males he mentioned, he claimed that would be his first preference. He said he has a lot of respect for Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte because they have contributed significantly to the sport. However, he believes that now is his chance and he needs to start moving up the rankings right away. He believes that a victory over one of the top players will put him into contention fairly quickly. In light of the IBF Intercontinental Champion's desire and his refusal to rule out a matchup with AJ, Hearn, who also promotes McKean, sees no issue with it. He claimed that he is top 10 in the world in 2020-0, and what else is there for him to do? He claimed that he has not yet faced off against one of the top competitors, but that is how it works. First, you establish your reputation, then you gain experience and move up the ranks before facing off against one of the top competitors. It's no joke about the Gabba. He added that it was a wonderful night of boxing and that Anthony Joshua vs. Demsey McKean is up there if AJ gets on his bike and embarks on the global tour they discussed. According to him, Demsey McKean will face Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora, Jile Jong, Filip Hrgovic, and unquestionably a significant name next. Before Whyte's contentious points victory over Jermaine Franklin, Hearn has already stated that the winner would be matched up against Joshua in 2023. In the blue ribbon division of boxing, Joshua is certain that he still has more to offer as he waits for the possible separation of the world title belts. Speaking in December, Joseph Parker said his team tried to set up a rematch with Joshua's management. The Kiwi told Sounds Out that before he flew there and before he agreed to the fight, that Jack Macy, his manager, sent a message to Joshua's team asking if they wanted to have a rematch, but neither AJ nor Hearn responded. He added that it would be fantastic if they could pursue such battles and rematches, even though they received no response. He said that each boxer and their squad had the last say. Next up, English former champion Anthony Joshua will take on Australian heavyweight Tai Tuivasa to bounce back from his catastrophic Usyk losses. According to reports, undefeated Australian heavyweight Demsey McKean will fight boxing superstar Anthony Joshua as the former world champion wants to restart his career. Joshua hasn't won a fight in more than 2 years, having suffered back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk. It is now being said that the 33-year-old will return to the ring in April to face McKean, also known as the Tower of Terror. On Tuesday, British fight analyst Adam Catterall made the statement when discussing Joshua with Nick Peet on the Fight Disciples podcast. The Australian southpaw, who has a record of 20-0 with 14 knockouts and a victory over UFC fighter Tai Tuivasa, demanded a match with Joshua when the British boxer won the IBF Intercontinental Heavyweight title in October of last year. McKean stated that he believes he performed enough to merit a further fight with a well-known fighter. I believe, he said, the GABA against AJ when he started it was an early knockout, and that he would have to hold Eddie Hearn to that. Naturally, he stated that would be his preferred choice, but he also stated that any of those top-tier males would be acceptable. The fight, according to Eddie Hearn, who represents both McKean and Joshua, makes sense. He argued that he is top 10 in the world in 20-0, so what else is there for you to do? He claimed he had not yet faced off against one of those top competitors, but that is how it works. First you establish your reputation, then you gain experience and move up the ranks before facing off against one of the top competitors. McKean stated on social media over the weekend that he is in discussion with Hearn about the fight and would prefer it to take place in Brisbane's GABA venue. Hearn, however, has informed McKean that to secure a major stadium fight, he must first defeat a well-known opponent. In opposition to Pulev in December 2020, Joshua put up possibly his greatest performance to date, and despite recent defeats to Usyk, he still possesses a threat to just about everyone in the division. Olympic gold medalist Rob McCracken and more recently Robert Garcia were both fired. Thus, he is currently looking for a new coach. Following his devastating knockout loss to Andy Ruiz in 2019, Joshua's fellow UK heavyweight Joy Joyce claimed the Englishman had evolved as a fighter and now prefers to fight from the back foot and remains out of danger rather than seeking knockouts. Also, Anthony Joshua's track record, knockouts, height, reach, and all the information you need. Anthony Joshua has a reach of 208 centimeters, 6'9.89", and is 198 centimeters tall, 6'5" and 98. He fights outside of the traditional stance and has a 10-centimeter index of 3.94. Joshua's KO percentage is 81.5%. On October 5th of 2013, at the age of 23, Anthony Joshua faced Emmanuel Leo and won by a first-round TKO. After his debut, he won 21 more straight fights, 20 of which were by way of submission. After 15 professional fights, Joshua faced Charles Martin for the heavyweight IBF title on April 9, 2016, in his first World Championship match. Joshua was 26 years old at the time. He knocked out Martin in the second round to claim the title of new heavyweight world champion. In his professional boxing career thus far, Anthony Joshua has suffered a total of 3 defeats, all of which occurred in title matches. On June 1, 2019, he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. via TKO in the 7th round, snapping a 22-fight winning run. He's been stopped once and has lost twice due to choice. See all of Anthony Joshua's defeats and additional information about these setbacks. He most recently fought Ukrainian boxer Alexander Usyk on August 20th, 2022, for Usyk's heavyweight, WBA, Super IBF, and WBO championships. Joshua was defeated by a split decision after 12 rounds. This fight took place 4 months and 27 days ago. Joshua now has a 24-3 record in professional boxing, which includes 6 title victories, 22 knockout victories, and 1 knockout loss. He has lost his last 2 matches. Till this point, Anthony Joshua has engaged in combat 27 times. He is renowned for giving outstanding performances and is one of the greatest of his generation. The pinnacle of his career was some of these fights. Anthony Joshua, 26, who is 15-0 with 15 knockouts, faced Charles Martin, who is undefeated, in a world title bout for Martin's IBF heavyweight crown. Martin had a 23-0-1 record and was 29 years old. Martin had a 17-fight winning streak and 21 knockout victories. Joshua had a 5-centimeter reach advantage in addition to being 2 centimeters taller than the other man. Joshua won the IBF Heavyweight Championship after Martin in the second round. He dealt Martin in the first defeat of his professional career and ended Martin's run of 17 victories. In a bout for the heavyweight championship, 34-year-old Eric Molina took on 27-year-old Anthony Joshua 17-0, 17 knockouts, who was defending his title. Molina had 19 KO victories during a 2-fight winning streak. Joshua was 5 centimeters taller than the other man, and he had 7 centimeters edge in reach. Joshua successfully defended his IBF heavyweight title by KOing Molina in the 3rd round. In a bout to unify the heavyweight division, 27-year-old Anthony Joshua, who was 18-0 with 18 knockouts, took on Vladimir Klitschko, who was 41 and had a record of 64-4. Klitschko had lost his previous fights. While Joshua and Klitschko were at the same height, Joshua had a 2-centimeter reach advantage. Joshua overcame Klitschko by the way of a TKO in the 11th round to win a vacant WBA heavyweight championship and keep his IBF heavyweight crown. In a bout for the heavyweights championship, 36-year-old Carlos Takam took on 28-year-old Anthony Joshua, who was 19-0 with 19 knockouts. Takam had a record of 35-3-1. Takam had 27 knockout victories during a 2-fight winning run. Joshua was 11 centimeters taller than the other man and had a 4-centimeter edge in reach. Joshua retained the WBA, Super, and IBF heavyweight titles by KOing Takam in the 10th round. Joshua is already a renowned boxer with these stats, yet it would also be a great sight to also see go head-to-head with the heavyweight Aussie, who has recently beat up UFC star Tai Tuivasa. How do you see this fight coming? Remember to like and share this video with everyone. You could subscribe to our channel for more content.